After my conversation with Brian Wang yesterday, I realized that Randy, the optimist of the decade, who has the plaque to prove it, has completely underestimated what is about to occur in the energy business. These ideas have been noodling around in the nether regions of my mind for a while now, but all of a sudden, I had this moment of clarity. The impact on Tesla will be stunning, I think, in ways that will surprise you. Hi, this is Randy Kirk, and I just have a couple of housekeeping things to tell you about really quick. The regular Monday morning show, which occurs on Sunday night, will not occur on Sunday night this week. Because why? Because it's Memorial Day weekend. So it will be on Monday night, and we'll call it Tuesday morning because calling it Monday morning wouldn't make sense. Anyway, you get the point. And then, of course, same thing is true of Monday morning. There won't be an After the Bell show. There will be a show, there will be an episode, but it won't be After the Bell because no bell. Okay. So now that doesn't mean there won't be shows all weekend. We'll have this is currently you're watching Sunday morning right now. There'll be a Monday morning. There'll be a Monday afternoon. There will be plenty of stuff for you to watch. So be sure to hit subscribe, hit notify. So you'll be notified of all those events. And then of course, there's always Patreon. I'm just going to remind you really quickly of how you can get one of these right now if you join Patreon. And then you can also get one of those if you pay for it. Anyway, we'll talk about that at the very, 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 very end. All right, let's see. Today we're actually going to have a show later today called it will be a normal Sunday news show. And, I know Sunday is when Lars does the news, and I respect that because he's really, really good at it. But, I don't do the news anything like Lars. I mean, it's completely different. And my show will be completely different. Won't be anything like Lars's on Sunday afternoon, but it'll be way later in the day as well. All right. So that's all the housekeeping out of the way. Let's see. When we first started discussing the energy storage business at the utility level, not the power walls, but the Megapacks. When we first started discussing that, we were putting up monstrous numbers in terms of what this would mean for Tesla: 400 billion in revenue, 500 billion in revenue. And then, some guys came out like Zerosum33, started figuring out what the profit was going to be. And he's like, oh, this is going to be 40, 50% profits. And we were getting all excited about how much this would mean for the bottom line. And well, some of those things have been modified since then. Elon said, no, we're shooting for a 25% profit on the Megapack business, and which is a fine profit for a manufacturing company to make 25% margins, especially on items that cost $1 million or $2 million or $3 million, whatever dollars. Those are, not normally going to get those kind of margins. Anyway, if you didn't see it yesterday, you need to go back and look because it was a great show. Yesterday morning, Brian Wang did what he does so very, very well. He pointed out that lead and manganese and especially sodium we're going to massively impact batteries. Not in 10 years, not in 5 years, not in some lab experiments that are being conducted now, and maybe they turn out someday to be scalable. No. These are chemistries that have already been announced by CATL and other major battery factories with prices already being established, price sheets. I mean, this is all public. And with the products rolling out in the fourth quarter of this year and into next year, including sodium batteries. That was the number one. Yeah, table salt. Yeah, and it's abundantly available. Not like abundantly available like lithium, where you have to find the mine and drill, put some drillings down, and then you hope you find it and then plan and plot the lot and everything else. No, this is sodium that's laying in fields up in Montana or Wyoming, I forget which one, like a dry lake bed where you can just take your shovel and according to Brian, and apparently it's true, there's 27 billion tons of this just in the United States, well, just in that one location in the United States. So we don't have to be dependent on China for this one. Okay, so the sodium thing is big, it's huge. Well, what else though? It also reduces the price. And of course, we've been talking about that for a very long time. I mean, Cathie and Tony Seba and others have been talking forever about how the the price curve is going to take the prices down. And so I was saying in the early going on a show with Warren, we were talking about this, and he says, well, here's what the numbers are going to be. And I said, yeah, but the prices are going to come down. The costs are going to come down, so the prices are going to come down. And then you think, well, okay, but there's an unlimited TAM. So if there's an unlimited TAM, then you can keep the prices up and just make way more profits. Well, yeah, we just found out that it doesn't work that way, because what happened? Tesla just lowered the price of their Megapacks by 10%, $200,000 drop in the price from 2 million to 1.8 million. That's rough. I don't know that that's exactly correct, but roughly 10% drop in price, just out of the blue. Like, why? It's my first feeling was, why would you do that? Well, why? Because the utilities are not stupid. It doesn't matter how big the TAM is. They know what the cost of they know what the cost of lithium is, what the cost of batteries are. All of that is available to them, and they're just not going to stand for it. If I was a buyer, I wouldn't stand for it. I'd be yelling and screaming, saying, no way. Plus, all the contracts, up until not all the contracts, many of the contracts, due to these large fluctuations in the commodity prices, especially lithium, almost all the contracts have built-in clauses for price differentials, because you might be placing your order today for something you're going to receive in 2 years, and neither Tesla nor the customer wants to be on the hook if these prices go crazy one way or the other. So this is going to be a big deal. And so it's going to be we're not going to be faced with shortages after all. We're not going to be faced with dramatically increasing prices because there's not enough lithium. No, based on what Brian brought to us yesterday, and it seems to be completely factual, that these sodium batteries are going to be coming with the biggest impact for sure on the Megapacks. Then I'm going to anticipate, and this is Tony and Cathie too, a 10% drop per year on the cost of these Megapacks. And this is what I was saying to Warren, a year ago on his show. Maybe it wasn't a year ago, 8 or 9 months ago. And it was like, no, these prices are not going to drop by this much. Well, it's going to have a dramatic effect. Basically, in 5 years, you're going to have Megapacks that are going to be selling for half of what they do now. Okay. And maybe less, maybe even 90% off of what they are now. I'm going to just base it on 10% per year for the first 5 years, and then staying static after that. It might be a lot less, but that's where I'm going to go with it. All right. And of course, I could be off on a lot of these numbers. There are some things that can't be reduced. You got the box, you've got the fans, all the cooling systems that are in the box. You've got the concrete, you've got the all kinds of aspects, the software, the security systems, the fire suppression systems, all that kind of stuff, doesn't necessarily go down over the next 10 years or 7 years or 5 years. So hard to call. I'm going to say 10% per year, and you'll see my chart. Now, there is some good news on this. They do make excellent money on installation, maintenance, software services, and arbitrage. The other good news is that Tesla is getting themselves into the utility business in many, many locations, as well as in their charging stations. And that would also be true for their mega charging stations for the electric truck, semi-trucks. So as they grow those businesses, they're going to be able to put the Megapacks into the ground a lot cheaper, which is going to obviously save them money as they electrify all of that. Plus, to the extent that they do their own utilities, it's going to be less expensive to produce those utilities. All right, so let's put up the charts right now. I'm going to start, usually I start with the base case. I'm going to start with the bear case. Elon has said he wants to get to 1 terawatt of energy storage by 2030. That's what we're all basing our theories off of, but I'm going to say that he doesn't get there, okay? On the bear case, I'm going to say, nope, doesn't quite make it. All right, so this is going to be, but it's going to take into consideration the drops in costs on this equipment, all right? So the energy storage in 2024, I'm going to put, normally I would have had it with 10 units, 10,000 units at $2 million each, it would have been $20 billion in sales. But no, I'm going to start off here saying that in next year, it's only going to be 18 billion because we just had this 10% price drop. Now you can see what happens the second year. It drops to 16 billion, and then 14 billion, and then 12, and then 10, half price of what it is in 2023. And then I'm going to keep it flat for 2029 and 2030. Yeah, it might keep going down. It might be 8 and then 6. I mean, it really might. And so, but I'm going to keep it flat for these purposes. And then now we have the new Shanghai unit coming in. I'm going to say it's going to be just starting out next year. It's only going to be starting in June, July. There's going to be a ramp. So it's not going to get fully ramped up until year 2. So you can see here, it'll also do 16 billion in year two. And then I'm going to say there's going to be 2 new ones coming along, and those will each do about 5 in their first year. Who knows? It could be 7, it could be 3, it could be 20, it could be fully ramped. I don't know, but we're going to just guess 5. The next year, all 4 of those will be fully ramped, but now it'll be at 14. You're starting to get the trend here with 2 new ones at 5, and then we're going to fully ramp all of these. But now they'll be down to 12, and then 5, and then fully ramp all of these down to 10, et cetera, et cetera. I think you're figuring out how I'm doing this. All right. So now you've got the totals. So that would be 23 billion in 2024, and 42 billion in 2025 goes to 66, and then 82, and then 95, 110. Now this 110, they're 95, call it 100 billion. This is, half of what my bear case used to be. Why? Because it's half the cost, half the sell. So it's a significant number. Now, net operating margin, Elon says 25%. I'm going to believe him. So you can see what that turns out to be. That means there's going to be 5.75 next year. Now I'm calling this operating margin, not gross margin, just to make it simple. I don't know how much overhead impact there's going to have. So I'm going to say that maybe it's 28% gross margin and 25, but we're just going to go with that as our estimate. Now you'll notice that $5.75 equates to about $1.69 a share. And at 50 PE, that's $85 a share. $85 a share just for the energy business next year. And the stock sells for what? 250 right now? Nonsense. All right, let's go on here. Okay, so in 2025, you're going to have 42 billion in sales revenue. You're going to have $10 billion in profit, $3 in profit per share, and already up to a valuation of $154 billion just from energy storage. That's in 2025. That's 18 months away. Now, if you want to, take that back based, do your analysis, what would that be? Maybe $130 valuation for the company right now. Anyway, go to year 3. You can start to see how the math works out. You're going to be all the way up to $4.85 a share, valuation 242. Then you're going to get $6.03 a share, $7 a share, $8 a share. So, in 2027, 2028, 2029, it'll be, almost $400 billion just for the energy division based on 50 PE rather. Now let's look. Now this is all based on revenue at $2 million in 2023, dropping 10% per year. Capacity per location, 10 megapacks. Ramp time a year for the phase 1, and then 2 years to get fully ramped. And then additional revenues are not included, all the arbitrage software, et cetera. So it all would add to what I'm talking about here. And 400 gigawatts of energy storage by 2030, not the 1 terawatt that Elon is talking about. All right, so now let's talk about, and I'll say Powerwall storage is additional, and selling price and margins could vary a lot. All right. Now we'll look at the bull case. Now, this is the one where Elon is saying, I want my terawatt, and I'm going to get my terawatt. So that means a lot more mega factories. I'm also going to make an assumption. So we'll change the assumptions down here. My assumptions now are that eventually each one of these places will make 2 20,000 megapacks. 20,000 megapacks per location instead of 10,000 megapacks per location. And again, we'll start with the 2 million dropping. Oh, that's the same ramp for phase 1 year. Ramp to max out is now 3 years, but it'll be ramping up, each year all the way until it gets to the 20,000 megapacks. All right. So what does that mean? So it's kind of like the last one. All the numbers actually pretty close to this. I've changed a few of the numbers around a little bit. You'll see. So $18 billion is all that's it's all that's going to happen next year, as it was last time. And then you got 2 plants now at 16, but now you've got 3 new ones. That's more, see, and those are all going to be at 8. The next year, everybody's ramped up to 32, but it's going to drop now. It's 14 and then 7. Now you're going to be down to 24. Okay, fully ramped, and then 22 fully ramped, and then 20 fully ramped. You see what I'm doing here? So these will be 12 half ramped. Now these will be 22 fully ramped, 11 half ramped. These will be 20 fully ramped, and 15 almost fully ramped, and 10 half ramped, and then all the way up to 20 for almost all of them. All right, so you begin to see as they ramp up, these numbers change, okay? And you got way more factories, and this gives you your full terawatt. So now you have 27 billion next year, 56, then 127. Now you're all the way up to 205 billion in revenue by the end of the decade. That is half of the 400 billion that I had earlier done with this exact page. I've just taken the same page and changed it. You can go back and look at what I was talking about earlier. So now the net operating profit in this particular case starts now at 675, goes all the way up to $51, and 51 billion. And then the profit, you can see, is all the way up to $15 per share. If you put a 50 PE on that, it's 753 just for the energy division. But even next year, it would be, if Elon moves this aggressively, even with the price drops, you're still at 205 billion in terms of share price at 50 PE, based on 14 billion in profit next year. So this 51 billion right here, this is half of Apple's profit today. Okay, just to give you some kind of an idea, half of the largest company in the world in the energy storage division by the end of the decade, based on dropping the price 10% a year, but reaching Elon's target of 1 trillion in sales. So I don't know. I wanted to bring this to you because this is something, again, that's been niggling in the back of my brain, that these prices are going to drop dramatically. Tony's talked about it. Cathie's talked about it. Everybody's talked about the fact that as these technologies get stronger and stronger, as you make more and more of it, the price drops over time. I've thrown in a 10% a year. Hey, it could be 8, it could be 12, it could be 15 in some years and 5 in others. We don't know. This is a rough guesstimate of how it might look over the next 7 years in terms of the ramp. And will it be a half a ramp like my bear case? Maybe Elon won't hit his goals for one reason or another. I have a feeling that he will hit the goals and more, primarily now because of this new sodium battery capability, because now there's seemingly almost no possibility that the raw materials are going to be a problem. The issue now becomes, can you make enough batteries? And then how fast can you make these Megapack factories? Those become the limiting factors instead of the raw materials. Given that, I think Elon is already ahead on the game. I mean, I'm sure he is. By the way, he's known about the sodium for, probably a year and a half when it was back in the lab. CATL and others were telling him. Jeff Hahn was telling him. So this is where we can expect to go. So let me remind you again, this is, as we're doing this on this particular show is out on Sunday morning, probably. Sometimes we change things. There might be breaking news or who knows what, as this show is out on Sunday morning. Tonight will not be Monday morning. Tonight will be Sunday news, a Sunday news special, bringing you up to date on all the Tesla news on during the day on Sunday. And then the regular show on Sunday night will be Monday night instead. And then after the bell, will start on Tuesday this week instead of on Monday morning, but there will still be a Monday morning show. It'll just be something like this, some kind of an essay. All right. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. Be sure to go back. We'll put a card right up here. Be sure to go back and see Brian's video yesterday morning. Very, very important to take a look at the technology, to look at the chemistries, to look at where he's getting his information, to look at what his expectations are. You definitely want to go back and take a look at that show. That's all I got for you for now. And then, we're going to talk a little bit about, though, the Cybertruck. Hang around for that. If you don't mind, I do want to pitch my little device here. I have these little devices for $25. You can't believe how cool this is. Look at how thick the stainless. I mean, holy mackerel! It comes in. It comes in a camo as well. It's a can opener. I mean, I'm sorry, not a can opener, a bottle opener. So you got your bottle opener here too, and it's got a magnet on the back, so you can slap it up on your fridge. I mean, is this good or what? So anyway, you just send $25 to my PayPal account. It's down in the information below. Just click on there. You can send it 20. Now, if you're out of the country, I got to charge you an extra $20 for freight. So, or if you join my Patreon, I'll give you one at the $10 level. I'll give you one for free.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.